Hey, y'all, it's Andrew Stefaniak from the Wildcats Today podcast. We're posting the press conference from Coach Pope today. Tomorrow, Carson and I will be here to break down what he had to say. Coach Pope said a lot of interesting stuff today, talked about the defense, talked about Otega Oweh taking reps at the 1, talked about the defense being a little, bit behind where he wants it to be. Talked about Braydon Hawthrone, compared him to a former star Kentucky player. A lot of great things from Coach Pope today. The audio on it, it's still trying to figure that out. It sounds better than the previous ones we posted before, but I'm still working to figure that out on the audio side of these pressers. But take a listen to it because, once again, Carson and I will be breaking it down on the show we do tomorrow. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, we would really appreciate that. Carson and I will see you tomorrow to break down the press conference.
You want to jump in or start with another Reds fan?
Is it a big Reds fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Unfortunately.
How are the Reds right now?
4 over 500.
There you go.
Okay, that's something.
They're in it.
Brewers are on fire.
Who is it?
The Brewers.
The Brewers. Oh, dear. Really? You and Cody Feger are going to go crazy about the Brewers. I love it. Okay. No, do I need to make a statement?
No.
All right, let's fire away, guys.
Mark, curious, when you put this team together, you say, I think we could be really good at A, B, and C. Now that you've had some time to work with them, are there areas where you think we could be really good at a certain area?
Yeah, I think we have some space to find some great pace with this team, actually, for a lot of reasons. One, because we have some personnel that I think have motors. I think we have some guys with special motors. I think we have some depth that we can really rely on. It's going to help us. I think we have a versatile group of bigs once they're all together that I think has a chance to be really special and attack the game in several different ways. So I like the possibility of pace. I thought this team had a terrific chance to grow into a great defensive team. We have a long way to go on that, but I think we can get there. I think we have a chance to have a really dynamic backcourt, guys that are really capable of making multiple moves to make plays in the backcourt. I think this team has a chance to really pass the ball at an elite level. So I have high hopes for this group. I think we have a chance.
Tempo closer to what your ideal offense would look like?
I would like to get there. I think we can. I really do. I think that we can. We have a group that I think we have guys that are growing into that. Otega Oweh, I think, is making real strides with his intentionality on being a cutter and pushing the ball in transition. I think Mo Diabate's got that skill to push the ball, to grab a defensive rebound and push the ball in transition. I think, of our returners, Trent Noah probably in the TBT scrimmage probably felt the most of all of our guys in the first quarter. Trent felt like the most veteran of all of our guys. The game just felt right to him to start that, which was really satisfying. Colin Chandler's going to be an elite little pace guy, so these guys coming back. And then we had possessions where Jalen Lowe ran by everybody on the court in transition to get to the rim, and he's got unbelievable jets. DA can run. We have a good group that has some pace potential.
You said last week on the practice report that this team's a little bit behind as far as being game ready than last year's team at this stage in the summer. You were working more on 100% concepts, I guess. I was just wondering if you could expound on that, basically what that means, and was that a conscious decision with this group or a change in strategy or what?
Well, I'll start by giving a massive shout out to our guys for kind of jumping on some of the things that we've said are non-negotiables. It's going to happen every single time. So we have some guys led by Cam, has been the best guy. So the last 3 practices, including the TBT scrimmage, he was 100% on wedges and 100% on legal contest. He's the only guy on the team that was in the scrimmage and over the last 3 days consistently in practice.
Sorry.
I want to know who that is that's calling
I
right
don't
now.
even know what that
That's
is.
getting me hyped right now.
It just started on its own.
That's when the boys are
I
hanging
hate
out,
phones.
man. One of your guys does the press conference on right now. He turned that thing on. He's like, I'm about to call him. Let's go.
Yeah, probably so.
Spirit of Lonnie.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I'm really proud of Cam. Like, that's a big deal, especially to be a new guy in the program and come here and he's just like, you know, it's unbelievable when you get to coach a guy that you tell him we need you to do this every single time. He comes out on the floor and does it every single time. That is actually a chance for us to be differentiated from every other team in college basketball, and he's embraced that. Our wedge numbers through 5 weeks of practice, you know, we're dancing around 85-88%, which is up about 17% on average from what we were last year, and that's impressive. We need to get to 100, like we're striving to get to 100. And same thing on legal contests. Our legal contest has been a little bit slower to develop, but that's a massively important. One of the things we have to do is our defensive field goal percentage has got to be better next year. And so we're dedicated to having a legal contest on every single field goal attempt, every single one. And so there's a lot of things that go into that, but that's a major point of emphasis for us. So when you as an organization and as a group, when you throw down some 100%, that means that you're willing to mortgage other things, that you're willing to, like, you know, you're willing to blow up practice and not get to all the things you have on the practice plan because you're, as a team, not me, not the head coach, but as a team, we're gonna blow up practice because we're gonna demand that we get to 100% here. And so we traded in, you know, last year from day one, we were incredibly devoted to teaching from the ground up the way we play, and we're really intentional about it, and so it got us to a point where I feel like when we went to this TBT game, we were a little more game ready. We knew we had a better feeling of what to get to A, B, C, and D, and how to make those decisions. You know, we hadn't even really got to a second lift when we jumped into this TBT game, so conceptually we were behind that way, but we were much closer on 100%, and that's a trade-off. It's a calculated decision on our part. I think it's going to pay off in the long run.
How are Malachi and Jasper coming along?
Jasper Johnson, major plus aura today. He finished his conditioning test on the first try, so I'm really proud of him. I'm very, very proud of him, and this Malachi Moreno is going to be fun. Like, we're going to have a lot of fun with him. He's so young, and he's so capable. And so from him, we're gonna see moments where, you know, where it's like he should be in the NBA right now, and we're gonna see moments where we feel like, I'm not sure Malachi knows exactly what he's doing, and we're gonna see both of those, and that's what growth is. But I'm really encouraged by both the young guys.
They've talked a lot about building team chemistry in the summer. How have you seen that come along?
I think it's been great. They've spent an enormous amount of time together in all different facets. So they're spending a ton of time on the court. You know, of course, we have our NCAA limitations on court time with the staff, and they're spending a lot of time on the court outside of practice, doing individual work, getting groups together to come get, you know, group shooting workouts or whatever it is they have going. It feels like there are guys in the gym all day long. The lodge is such a gift to us that those guys can all have the same living space, and that they just bump into each other. And the goal in this 8 weeks is for all of them to get to the point where they really annoy each other and they want to kill each other because, you know, somebody's, you know, left their stuff out, or, you know, somebody's not emptying their trash, or somebody's playing their music too loud, or all those things where you really get to know each other. I think are happening. I think the lodge is a real gift to us that way, and then activity-wise, these guys have already logged a really impressive number of service hours together. Our first 2-3 weekends were completely devoted to getting out and serving in the community, and then we've had an event every week where the guys have been super willing and dedicated and passionate to serve. And the fact that they're getting to do that together, I think there's a magical currency there where guys grow to know each other better when they're serving. So I'm proud of where the guys are right now. We still have a long way to go. We still got to put a lot of capital in the bank to prepare for the stresses and the rest of the season, but we're heading in the right direction.
Mark, what is the status on Jelavic, and what will the process of getting him acclimated look like once he does arrive?
So the status right now is that we got transcripts. He just finished classes, which is awesome. So we have transcripts, and so that part of this process is complete, and now it's going through the rest of it. I'm hoping that he'll be on campus here. I don't know if it's optimistic in the next. I'd love for him to be here tomorrow. He actually can't work out with the team right now. Once we reach the admissions, well, actually, there were a number of reasons why he wouldn't be able to work out with the team. One of them is being an international student, first time in the States, with our summer courses to take the required number of in-class hours was really complicated. But we'd like to get him here as soon as possible. He's doing great. He's training back home, and I expect him to come and have a great impact.
Mark, you were speaking about Jasper and Malachi a second ago. You got to coach them earlier this summer at the USA basketball camp. I guess first, could you just reflect on your experience in that environment? And I know you can't name specific names, but obviously some recruits there as well. Just what do you make about being able to get that developmental on-court time with them, and any potential long-term impact they could have on their college choices?
I was so happy to have the opportunity to go coach those guys. One, because we've been waiting for so long to actually be on the court and be able to talk to them on the court with a ball, right? And so that was, I was so excited. I mean, I was looking forward to that from the day that we kind of made the arrangement. Like, this is going to be great. I get to go out there and be in some type of pseudo scrimmage game situation with both my guys. So that was fantastic. I loved it, every second of it. And then the opportunity to be there with incredibly talented kids. And you know what's interesting? For kids to make the level that these kids are making it to, where the data is crazy. So they invite 32 kids to the USA U19s to try out for the team. Over the last 10 years, 60% of the guys who've made the team have been drafted to the NBA. And 40% of the guys who have not made the team have been drafted in the NBA. That's a crazy number. And when you get to deal with great players like that, they're usually, almost without exception, incredible human beings also, because to make the sacrifice and do the work and have the commitment to get to that level, you usually have to be built pretty special. And so what a joy as a coach to be able to go do that. And then the coaches that we got to work with there, it was really fun. We're usually standing on the opposite sides of the sideline, yelling at each other. And so to be there in a unified effort was really, really special. I loved everything about it. USA basketball is transcendent. Anybody that gets one moment to be a part of it is blessed. Not just by the history, but by the current product, and so it was very special.
Mark, off topic, just a bit, I mean, you haven't backed away from the expectation here at all, and you've even said this team has a chance to do something really, really special. I'm looking back to '96, your team. How did Coach P address the expectation heading into that? Did he embrace it the same way that you have on this team?
No, he was different.
How so?
He just told us that if we didn't win every game, he was going to kill us. And I never knew exactly what that meant, if it was just going to be kill us figuratively in practice or actually kill us. It was probably some grouping of both. Probably. But the expectation was exactly the same, and it's been the same. Listen, the expectation here has nothing to do with me setting it. It's what it is in Kentucky. It's one of the things that sets us different, sets us apart from every other program in the country. I happen to love it. I love every bit of it. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to be here, where the expectation is only one ending to the season is actually makes it a satisfying season. I'm grateful to be in this environment. It comes with everything that you guys all know that it comes with, but that's where I want to be, and I'm grateful. That's where our guys want to be, and they feel it. And it comes with all the complications you can imagine, but as an athlete, those are the complications you want to sign up for.
Mark, this is shaping up to be one of your most talented teams, but talent doesn't always translate over to coachability. How coachable are these guys?
I think this group has a chance to be beautifully coachable. I think they have a chance. Today in practice, we had two individual groups today in practice, and our first group was struggled, and so it derailed the whole practice because we are committed. One of our key ideas this year, one of our 100% is living to a standard every single possession, and so we are going to blow up practice more often than we did last year. we'll get stuck because we're not gonna move on until we actually do till we live up to the standard we have. And two things happened that were good. One, our guys didn't quit. The gym was full of frustration. It's not a happy place this morning for the first group. But the guys didn't quit. They kept trying to work through it until they got there, kept trying to listen and understand and kind of grasp onto what we were trying to accomplish. The second nice thing that happened, referring to the coachability, was the second group witnessed the last 15 minutes of misery of the first group, and so they came onto the court with a whole different renewed determination to do it right on the first rep. And so I think this team's I think they have the flavor and the juice to be really coachable. I think we have a conglomeration of guys here who understand what Kentucky is, who understand our desperate desire to get better and have the humility to do it. I think we do. The humility is always a sliding scale, but I think we're living in the humble space right now where guys are able to actually take in new information.
You talked about Jalen a little bit a moment ago. What about the guys kind of behind him that you're trying to work in to see back to like your backup point guard situation? How are those guys?
Well, I have a really talented backcourt. I have so many options. Otega's played some minutes at the one. Colin Chandler's played a lot of minutes at the one. Jasper Johnson's completely capable of playing the one. I think DA is very comfortable playing the one. So we're in a little bit of a different scenario than we felt like we were in most of the season last year. We have so many capable options. I also think at the 2 and the 3, we're built a little bit different, where we probably are going to have more get where you want to go ball handling on the floor besides just our point guard. I think our 2 guard for the most part in the game, and a lot of times our 3 is going to be really aggressive off the bounce, also be able to make plays off the bounce. I think we'll live in that space a lot this year.
You mentioned TBT a couple of times. How beneficial has that been to kind of gauge your current team?
I don't know. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that we had to have practice and the opportunity we had to have a scrimmage against TBT, because it just puts you in an environment where, I don't know if any of the data is real, but it just gives you the vibe of, it gives you some direction for these 8 weeks. I wish we could play a game every week. You guys know I'm pushing these 40 games, this 40-game season in NCAA. We got to 32, so I was shooting for 9 more games. They gave us 1. Okay? Let's keep pushing. And I wouldn't even mind, I would love it if we could sprinkle a couple games in this 8-week summer session. Now I know not every team is playing the same, is using the same 8 weeks. I know a lot of guys have different groupings on the floor, but that's fine. Let us work around. Let us go find other teams that have a similar 8-week schedule, and let's go play a couple games because it helps your guys learn, it helps your team grow, and ultimately that should be the goal of this whole thing, is like, how fast can we grow, how much can we grow, how much better can we get? And so in lieu of that opportunity that I hope is going to be real next summer, we'll take this TBT, and our guys have been great. There's a few great things. One is it's great to go out and compete in a real game with real minutes and real stats. 2, it's great to compete against our guys. I think we got to see, what was it, Saturday night?
Friday and
Sunday. I think it was fun to see the relationship that's been built over a very short time between these former players and our current players, and that is important. That's part of what makes Kentucky so special. We just went to. Am I allowed to talk about Vegas? Yeah. So anyway, we do a lot of things where we're building relationships, trying to tighten the bonds between our former players and current players, and this is one of them. So that's also really important. That's actually a very, very important part of the Kentucky experience.
Mark, you were talking about defense earlier. Every player that you all have brought in here has talked to us about how good they believe this team can be unprompted, how good it can be defensively, to the point where they're saying we can be the best defensive team in the country, especially when Jaden gets back. Are they saying that because that's the thought you're putting in their head, or is this organic? I mean, how does this happen?
Well, I think right now we want to believe that, but we're so far from that. I mean, I thought after the first quarter of of the TBT game, I was gonna crash out. I mean, it was brutal, right? We didn't guard anybody. I think our team, I think La Familia was like a 1.8 points per possession after the first quarter. So we're a million miles away from being the team that we think we can be. It's all fun and games to say what we think we can be. But I do think that the potential's there. We just have a long way to go to get there.
Have you ever had a team show up for camp and the defense was ahead of the offense?
Yes. In fact, that was probably the way I spent my whole, I mean, in terms of me being a head coach, maybe not, because I'm twisted and warped and I love the offensive side of the floor, but probably my entire lifetime as a player, the standard was that the defense was going to be way ahead of the offense because that's where we spent our time usually, and it usually came easier. So this is, you know, that's an adjustment we're trying to make. But I do think that I do, you know, last year, if you remember, we finally found our footing defensively after the game at Ole Miss, and we made incredible strides in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks of the season. We're hoping to not wait to quite that deep in the season.
What have you seen from Braydon these past 5 weeks, and what do you have a sense yet for maybe realistic expectations for him this coming season?
I don't like to talk about realistic expectations. You know that. Braydon Hawthrone is I called him, in fact, you know, you guys know I'm losing my mind. I called him Braydon Hayward in film the other day. The guys were killing me. Braydon Hawthrone is he is a unique player. I can't wait till you guys get to watch him and see him on the court. I was with Tayshaun Prince for quite a while, maybe a week ago, and he just build body, skill set. There's a whole bunch of Tayshaun Prince in this kid, and I know those are big words. Tayshaun Prince is one of the best players to ever play here, and had an incredible NBA career, also a championship NBA career. But there's something about, you know, you rarely talk about a guy's ankle mobility, but that was the first thing that my performance team said, was they were like, his ankle mobility is insane, and when you see him cut and move, that's the way it feels. Like he's kind of all arms and legs, but he can change direction and get downhill, and he's got impressive length. He's gonna be really fun.
Mark, I wanted to ask about Jelavic and what reasonable expectations would have been for him, since you mentioned expectations is a word you like. Given that he's not going to be able to go through summer workouts, what do you think he can bring to next season?
Well, he's a vet. I mean, he's been playing against grown men, so he should bring a lot. And he's also, I think he's a really good young man who's been dreaming about this opportunity for a long time. I expect him to come in here and have an immediate impact.
Mark, when you think back to last year's team, obviously Jackson was the only guy you had coached at a previous stop. Some of the guys who had never played with each other before. Just from a coaching perspective, what did that kind of enlighten you about that you can maybe transfer over to this year's team or just going forward?
You mean the ability to have Jackson here?
No, just from your standpoint of coaching so many guys who came from different locations and getting them to all mesh and be one cohesive unit. Yeah, that's the beauty of coaching today. It's one of the great challenges of coaching today. It's one of the great opportunities, actually. And so, I mean, the lessons, there's no substitute for time. There's just no substitute for time. I've started a new program for me where I'm driving Megan Summers insane right now because of the individual time that I'm scheduling with our guys, where I get to meet with them one-on-one just about life every single week. And you think about it, if you just slot in a half an hour for each guy on the team, that's a lot of time during the day, especially with our travel. And so there's no substitute for time. There's no substitute for time with our guys being together. There's no substitute for time with me being with the guys individually and on the floor. And there's no substitute for time with our assistants and staff being together. And so that's probably the number one thing is being really intentional and scheduling out all of our time so that we're utilizing the most to know each other best and understand each other. We also slow down the teaching. So today, one of the reasons we blew up practice was because we slowed down and have several guys. You know, as a coach, you jump on the floor and you give definitions, everything. And then today it was like, all right, I gave the definition. Now you teach the team what this is, and
after they teach the team, then we can add or subtract, and then you teach the team the same principle, and so I think being as clear as we can, which I would probably grade us at about a C so far in the first 5 weeks about our efficiency with our clarity, but hopefully the last 3 weeks will be better. So time. There's no substitute for it. We just need more of it.
Mark, how much do
Couple
you
more.
show kind of your film from last year? And I don't want you to give away your secret sauce for coaching, but last summer, during summer workouts, you couldn't show your guys any Kentucky film. You were just maybe showing them some of your offensive BYU. Now that you've had a year here, how much do you show that and show, hey, this is what our offense needs to look like to be at its best? And like, at what points of last year do you show them?
Yeah, so as we go through each concept, so as we go through our transition offensive tree, for example, or if we go through our secondary offense in transition, like a wide option or a trail option or a pass back option, as we do those breakdowns, we'll send our guys a PowerPoint that they can look at, and then we'll send them a clips and everything we do is progressions, like everything is first option, second option, third option, where they can actually see it from last year. And I love it. I love that they get to see our team competing on our court. I love that they get to see our team in our league. I love that they get to see our guys, the 4 returning guys, doing it and see them doing it. So I think the more homegrown that we can make this, the better.
Have you noticed in the summer that like the guys have maybe latched onto it a little easier than maybe you guys did last summer, since you do have that on tape?
Yeah, in all honesty, maybe, but I've taught this summer a little bit different. I'm still a little twisted up about how we've done the first 5 weeks. I'm making an educated bet on the fact that the way we've done this is going to pay off. So it's a little bit of both, actually.
Coach, along those lines, you've been out recruiting and you've had that year, to show what this program can do, what you can do, what guys in the NBA. What are you hearing from recruits? Is there anything different that you're hearing from them this year than last year?
Yeah, I mean, last year, yes. The answer is yes. Last year, the question was, when we first got here, was who am I going to play with? So that was the overwhelming question. And then the second question is just the underwriting kind of theme was like, what's it going to be? I mean, you're coming in here with nothing to show after a Hall of Famer left, right? And so that was, some people were brave enough to address that head on, and some people it was an underlying kind of vibe that you just knew that you had to hit hard. I think that's so different now. I think that the feel here is that we're squarely in the process of accomplishing special things. I think that's generally the vibe, and I think that people have faith in Kentucky basketball. That's the way it should be, and it's always been.
Mark, now I'm kind of worried. Why are you so bad defensively?
Poor coaching so far. Actually, poor coaching so far, and it's there's so much to do, right? There's so many things to do. I do think it's interesting, and this is the bet we're making. The bet we're making is that if we spend an extraordinary amount of time on a foundation in a really new but like 100% way, the framing of the house and the finish of the house is actually going to go way faster, and it's going to be way more palatial, and the resale value is going to be incredible, right? If we really, really dig in hard on this foundation. But when you walk up to a house and all you see is the foundation, it's not very inspiring, right? So we're spending a massive amount of time and energy and focus on the foundation, making the best, deepest, most sure foundation that we possibly can, and we're trusting that the next steps are going to go faster and that we're going to get a better product. So right now, that's what I'm saying about the defense. There's just not a lot to show for right now because we've dug so deep into this foundation.
Is that brand new for you in your coaching career?
Say it again?
Is this approach brand new for you in your coaching career?
Well, I don't want to oversell it, although it's fun because we have something to talk about, but I want this game to teach us. I think the best coaches and the best players let the game teach you. This is George Karl. George Karl, one of my heroes in coaching, and I learned so much from him. And one of the things he always talked about is like, what is the game teaching you right now? Pay attention. If you're not paying attention to what the game is teaching you, then you're going to fall behind. And so we work really hard to try and pay attention to what the game is teaching us. And so this approach right now is our best shot at listening to the game, what we felt like it taught us last year, what we feel like we have in our team this year. And so we're making a really, really educated calculation on how it's gonna go. And I got a lot of confidence because I do believe in our guys. So I'm hoping that this will be the last time we talk about our defense being porous. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.